welcome yet again to another incredible episode of Adventures in Entrepreneurship. I am, of course, your host and first mate, Jared. This is Captain Clay, and we are here to help you navigate the tricky waters of entrepreneurship. Clay, today we are talking about you building your dream team, one inexperienced DJ at a time.
Quick interruption. You just got back from Cancun?
I did just get back from Cancun.
And what were you doing there?
I was on my honeymoon. And
awesome.
It was glorious.
Really?
Oh, it was.
Just give everybody a quick recap about your honeymoon. What was the highlight in terms of just what did you enjoy doing the most during the day?
The food was okay. The resort was incredible. The beach was amazing, and I think everyone knows what my favorite thing to do was.
Awesome. So you look tan. You outside?
I was outside just a little bit.
Really? Were you the only guy in Cancun with a cabbie hat?
I think so. I think so. A 6-foot white guy walking around with his hat on. Everybody just stares at you all the time.
Awesome. All right, back to you. I didn't know if people in Cancun thought you were a cab driver.
Unreal. Okay, so talking about building your dream team, one inexperienced DJ at a time, learning to go from me to we.
Yeah. Building
this business beyond yourself.
Right.
So why don't you tell us just a little bit about that and what that was like?
Well, I think the thing you have to look at, you kind of picture this, is that you're starting a company, right? And it's just you know? So you got or maybe you have two guys. In this case, you have a guy named Garrett. And what would happen is Garrett and I would have like our sales meeting. So it's like, Garrett! You know, or hey, let's have our accounting meeting. Garrett? You know? Or, marketing meeting. It'd just be the two of us at all times. And when you're just a small entity, you have to act and treat you have to review your day, your schedule, and your agenda and everything as though you are a big company already. You know, you can't act small. So by that I mean, you have to project an image of confidence so that people actually want to work with you. And so that's one of the most humbling things is when you're meeting with somebody for the first time and you invite them up to your apartment for your interview and they're thinking that you're weird. And you can't quite understand it because for you that's just normal, but when they meet you at your house or your apartment for the interview, they're kind of feeling like it's a little sketchy. so you have to project an image of confidence, and one of the things I learned is just dress to impress so that when you meet people for the first time, they're not going, oh boy. And then also, you want to make sure you meet people maybe at Starbucks or Panera Bread or someplace that has a little bit of professionalism or has something to be desired in the decor there, so that people aren't freaked out by meeting you, for lunch, maybe in your DJ van or at your apartment or something. So it's just making sure that you project an image of success, or at least it inspires confidence to the point that somebody would risk working for you this week. Without getting paid, you know what I'm saying? You just want to make sure you do that.
Right, right. Now, I know that when you started off, one of your things was you would rather hire someone that had no experience whatsoever.
Truth.
Than someone that was like the most incredible DJ you'd ever met.
Now,
why was that?
Well, quick disclaimer. I mean, if you're like a church and there's a guy who he seems like a quality dude and he's dependable and he shows up for all the services on time, you probably don't want to make him the pastor. You probably want to have some type of... But in terms of experience as a DJ or experience as a photographer or if you're a sales guy, I believe that at the core, really, you have to have a great attitude. You've got to be enthusiastic about life. You've got to have high expectations. And that's what you have to have. If you got high expectations for life, a great attitude, and you're enthusiastic, we can train everything else. But if you show up to a meeting looking like you're in a coma, and you look like you approach it as though work is painful and that you don't want to be there all the time, it makes it very hard to train you to do anything. So that's really what we look for, and then we can train everything else.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned two character traits right there, the great attitude and enthusiastic. What would you say if you could add a third to that? What are the three most important characteristics of an employee that you look for?
First off, again, we're going to look for that enthusiasm. When you show up to work, we want to see that glimmer in your eye that says, I enjoy life. If you're somebody who doesn't enjoy life, then we're going to try to not need to hire you right now. If you have high expectations, if you want something out of your life that's beyond where you're at, that's the big thing. I mean, you don't have to be discontent with just your life and be irritated at everything, but you do have to be somebody who has a high expectation for life. You want to get something more out of your life than just where you're at. And then the final thing is just that attitude that says, I'm trainable, I'm humble, I'll do what I need to do. that kind of attitude. Instead of the one that says, I'm pompous. I know everything there is to know about this subject because I have experience. And thus, I don't want to be trained by you. Especially because you live in an apartment where it doubles as your office. And we're meeting in your DJ van. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, how do you go about convincing someone when you are at that point? When your apartment is your office, when you are meeting with them in your DJ van, when you are working out of your house, how do you go about convincing someone or persuading, maybe even twisting their arm a little bit without the use of a taser to get them to work for you?
Let's give you about 5 tips, and if it somehow becomes 7, then there we go. But tip 1 out of those, definitely dress to impress. That's just the big thing. Don't dress like you're homeless. Dress to impress. Because when you meet somebody, they don't want to work for you if you portray an image that doesn't connotate success. I mean, think about this. If I go to work for you at Starbucks, I'm hoping that someday, if I really like Starbucks, if that's my goal, to work at Starbucks as an entry-level barista, and I'm going to work up to the top, I don't want to work for you if I know that at the peak of my career, if I work for you, that I'm also going to be financially struggling. Like I want to work for someone who's in a position that I want to aspire to. So if you can't project the image of success because you have a great office or an unbelievable church or a great building or awards or anything that can show some kind of success. I mean, if you're making millions of dollars and you have a highly successful organization, you can wear your shirt untucked and people don't care because they know you're successful. But when you're starting out, you've got to portray at least the illusion that you have some kind of success. So 1 is just dress to impress. 2 is you need to show and demonstrate to new people that you're willing to do anything that you're asking them to do. You don't want to say, you don't want to hire a new guy to be a DJ or a new person to work in accounting or a new person to do sales. And you don't want to be their direct report. You don't want them to. You don't want to be their manager, and then you're unable or unwilling to do that job as well. Because the weird thing about running a business is that you have to be the accountant, the sales guy, the marketing guy, the guy who actually does the work. And if you're showing that you're their manager and you don't have the ability to do that yourself, that makes it kind of tough for that person to be too motivated to work for you. And then the final couple of things I would definitely say is that when you're meeting with people, you want to seem organized. You want to have your stuff together, man. You want to have your face shaved. Maybe put on some shaving cream and kind of get that down there. Or if you're going to go with the suit, maybe you have a tie on. Or if you're going to have an interview you're going to have, maybe have your questions pre-written so that people know that you have some kind of formula instead of going, so we're going to be talking awkwardly about random things for the next 30 minutes. Maybe have a website together, Maybe do something, just look like you have your stuff together, be organized. And then the final 2 things I would definitely say, when you hire people, to show what the future looks like. Show them what they can get to. Show them, here's where you're at, but here's where we're going as a company, and here's where you can go as well. People don't want to work for someone whose goal is just to maintain middle class, or you say, hey, if you work for me, if you come to work for me in my incredible DJ service, I'm going to live above average. But you, my friend, will struggle. You don't want that to be the goal. You want to explain to them, hey, here's the vision for the company, here's what we're doing, here's what you can do to tie into that. And then the final thing is I would make sure you share the pie with people, new people, especially if you're starting an organization. Maybe they get a certain percentage of the profit, a certain percentage of the gross, maybe they can buy in part ownership, but it's really critical at first that you build a team of people that have a vested interest in your success, so it's not just you fighting against the world. That's my 5.
Your 5?
Yeah.
That's good.
I was going to sneak in 6 or 7, but I decided not to.
Just cut it off there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Alright, so, we've covered a lot of really good stuff today. If you can send us off here, 30 seconds or less, what is the main thing that we need to walk away with today? The main thing is that when you're going from me to we, understand that most people think that you're bogus and your company is not legit. And 97%, last year the Small Business Administration said it was 97 or 98% of all the small businesses failed last year. So people assume if they come to work for you, they're not going to get paid because you're going to go out of business. Or they assume that you're going to cheat them over or scam them or something. They assume that your business isn't going to make it. So you have to show from the very beginning to everyone you come in contact with that your business will succeed and that you are a person worth investing their time in because you're growing, you're going places, and therefore people should want to work for you. Work with you as a team. I'm just taking some notes here.
Hey, and while you're taking notes, I just want to also point out that it's never too late to buy Jared a wedding gift. And so if you go on to Shine on the Dime,
something along those lines,
and you send in an email and just put in a 16-digit credit card confirmation code with an expiration date, preferably your credit card, and just tell him what gift you'd like him to buy on your behalf.
That'd be great.
No one's actually done that yet, but we feel as though most people are holding back for today.
And just real quick, we've got the Man Up conference coming up here.
Oh man, we had a great development on that last week. Blake Ewing, who is running for city council for Tulsa, and is the founder of Joe Mama's, not my mother's, not your mother's, but Joe Mama's Pizza. Also, the Max, it's an 80s theme restaurant. So we've got a bowling alley where they combine entertainment and bowling, and I say entertainment and bowling because bowling is not an entertaining thing by itself. You gotta have entertainment with that.